Hi, my name is Jeannie Lauren Dowden with Conduit News, and today we're joined with founder and president of Family Council in Little Rock, Jerry Cox. Hi.
Well, thank you for having me on. It's always a pleasure.
We really appreciate the work that Family Council does, and we appreciate you coming on Conduit. We wanted to talk to you about some happenings down there at the Capitol, specifically Senate Bill 66. This is a good bill. It is meant to protect those most vulnerable, our kiddos, from pornography. It had a very difficult time getting out of House rules on Wednesday. Talk to us about that, if you would.
Well, this is a common sense bill that just simply says if a person is running a pornographic website, that you have to check the identification of the people accessing it to be sure that kids aren't getting on there.
Yeah.
And right now, it's the Wild West. A kid can just go right into these porn sites, and there's really no check of anything. And so our good friends in Louisiana came up with a really good law that says, you know what, if more than 30% of this site is pornographic, then you get somebody trying to log on from the state of Louisiana, then they have to upload an ID to be sure that they really are an adult. Same thing we're trying to do here in Arkansas, and a bunch of other states are trying to do the same thing. This good bill is being sponsored by Tyler Dees and Mindy McAlinden, and it went through the Senate with no opposition. None whatsoever. I believe it passed unanimously.
Yeah.
That thing went to the House Rules Committee for them to vote on it. We thought, well, surely everybody's going to be good with this. When it came up, nobody would even make a motion for the bill to pass. And so it stopped dead in its tracks because not one member on that committee of 15 would even utter the words, I make a motion, do pass. They all just sat there and stared. And I was just stunned. I was flabbergasted. I didn't know, I really did not know what to think about what they were doing there. So the bill is going to come back again this coming Wednesday. And we're going to see maybe if the members of that committee hear from their constituents, they maybe might change their mind and decide to pass the bill.
I want to talk to you about efforts that constituents can make leading up to Wednesday. But before we go there, let's talk just very briefly about some of the issues that were raised in the committee. I think identity theft concerns, data breaches, the state's involvement in this bill and enforcing it. Help viewers understand, or just, I mean, I'm right there with you. In my opinion, none of those concerns outweighed placing guardrails in place for our kiddos. But talk to us about some of those concerns that you heard and what your thoughts are.
Well, first of all, our data is out there all over the place. My bank has it, Walmart has it, Sam's Club, at my credit card company. It's all over the place.
Yeah. And
so it makes you kind of wonder when people say, well, I'm afraid a porn site might release my data. Well, why is your data on a porn site? Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
And I was just stunned because it was as if the members of the committee were worried about what might happen to the porn dealers and the porn sites. Well, what if somebody fraudulently uses an ID and they get on the site and the porn site gets in trouble for that? Well, that'll be worked out in court, just like the false use of any other ID. But this whole thing about data breaches, if you're concerned about a data breach, don't upload your driver's license to a porn site. I mean, that's really what it boils down to.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's supposed to be good guardrails in place there. I couldn't say that data would never be breached, but that's true everywhere.
Right.
So, but it really just stunned me that I felt like the committee was over here in this other corner, not with the kids.
Yeah.
And how many of us want our little boys and little girls exposed to pornography on the internet? It's terrible. And for them to start offering excuses for why we couldn't do that, it just made me angry.
I think that you hit the nail on the head with that. I think that a lot of parents and voters view this as another instance where special interest groups or other interests are put ahead of our children's interest. And that is a very hard pill to swallow. I don't think that a lot of parents are going to be okay with that. These are very reasonable guidelines to put in place to protect the kids. And really, there's no reason to not be in support of this good bill. So talk to us then. You mentioned this will be back in committee on Wednesday. What efforts is Family Council making? What can people do from now until Wednesday to really move the needle to get this passed?
Well, I hope citizens all over the state will light up the switchboard at the Arkansas House of Representatives. I hope they'll call and leave a message for their state representative. It's real simple. You dial 501-682 6211, I believe is the number. Is that right, Jenny?
Yes.
And dial that number and you'll get the switchboard during normal business hours. You tell them your name, tell them who your state rep is, say, please vote for Senate Bill 66, the bill to protect children from internet porn. That's all it is. That's real simple. And you can make a huge difference just by making that call. And of course, if you get to wondering about all this, they can call, people call us and we'll tell you all about it. At Family Council, it's 501-375-7000 or familycouncil.org. And you can learn more about it that way. But people need to make their voice heard. And I believe we can move this good bill forward. I was told that Pornhub, which is supposed to be the largest porn site on earth, as soon as Louisiana passed their law, guess what they started doing? Requiring proof of ID before you could access the stuff on there. And so it doesn't say you can't access it, but it's like the rest of life out here. Sometimes you got to show your ID to be able to do certain things, like buy alcohol, buy cigarettes. We don't let kids out to go out to strip joints. And we have curfews that they can't be on the street at certain hours of the night. Why can't we do the same kind of thing with the internet? It ought to be safe for everybody to be online, but it's not. It's dangerous. And I applaud these lawmakers for trying to fix that problem. And I want these other lawmakers to see the light and realize that this protects children from something very, very harmful. Who among us wants to say, yeah, I sided with the porn industry against kids?
It's an odd stance to take, isn't it?
Don't want to be there, you know?
No.
Just saying.
Yeah. Okay. Well, listen, we will share all this information. We hope that people will reach out really from now until, and we've talked about this, the switchboard will be closed over the weekend. So come Monday morning, you know, you have a few hours on Friday, but come Monday morning, 8:30, start lighting that board up and really just to continue to apply pressure Monday through Wednesday. And then if possible, be there in attendance in the audience.
Well, yeah, the meeting will be at noon on Wednesday, straight up 12 o'clock in the Big Mac building in room B. And people, it's open. People can come. The other day when that bill failed, there were probably 8 people in the room. And it just failed kind of almost in darkness, all it felt like, or just nobody was there. But I think people need to see and be there. And I think that will help lawmakers understand that people care about this issue a whole lot. So definitely try to be there for that. But also, if you know your lawmaker and you've got their phone number, call them over the weekend and have a face-to-face kind of conversation with them and say, please protect our children as much as you can. And I think that will mean a lot. And so if you know your state rep, pick up the phone and call them. And, you know, it's nothing like hearing from home when you're a lawmaker, and you can make a difference.
Thank you so much, Jerry. We always really appreciate everything that y'all do down there, and we will see how things play out now until Wednesday. We hope that the House and our representatives will be there to protect our kiddos. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.